Hallo mensen, we zijn weer terug bij een nieuwe aflevering van What Remains of Edith Finch. Hier zijn we gebleven vorige keer, bij Guus met de vlieger. En toen zag ik al dat ik deze kant moest hier naar boven. Denk ik in ieder geval, ja.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Zo.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Hier heb je nog een kamer.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Dat zijn dus mijn moeder en mijn vader.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Ook nu. Hier zo. Kun je naar buiten of zo? Kijken. Ik zie hierboven geen gang of zo. Nee. Oei. Oké. Kan hier niet. Ik weet niet of ik hierheen moet. Nee, ik denk dat ik echt daar iets moet vinden in die kamer of zo. Geen idee waar ik heen moet. Ja, ik moet wel hier zijn. Ik ga nog een keer hier kijken. Oh, hier. Ja, dat had ik niet gezien.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Ja, hier had Jonne mij over verteld, over een klein
but it
schooltje.
didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Okay.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Hoe die weg is gegaan. Oh, dat was wel heel het verhaal van hem.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Ik laat hier gewoon alles in het huis openstaan of zo.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Daar kan ik niet. Dus je moet wel hierin. Hele copyright. Dat zijn leuke stoelen.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Maar dit is mijn controller. En dit is op mijn PC, dus dat is anders. Oh, een brief.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
cities of zo. Wat moet ik doen? Ik heb geen idee wat ik moet doen.
Wander.
Oh, ik moet lopen.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
Het is best moeilijk.
Then
twee
something
dingen
moved.
tegelijk te doen.
Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him
Een soort
then,
van Dark Souls spelen.
daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole
Nou, deze
new
ga ik ook
Lewis.
stoppen hoor. Met de opname, dan heb
So
ik
I
nog
let
wat
him go on.
voor de volgende keer.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Hallo nieuw vriendje.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Oh, een soort van Mario.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Ook moet keuzes maken.
The queen was on her own quest for
Regenboog.
radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her
In haar. We hadden nog geen
Silver harp.
elektriciteit. Er ook overheen.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Wat veel gepraat zeg. Ik kan bijna niet meer praten hier.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Sorry. Oh. Wat nog terug? Oké, ik kan het ook terug.
He began to forget the world we know.
Oh, ik werk hier. Het is toch niet een fijne werkplek?
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
En mijn vis en zo is dat. Weet ik dat?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Ja. Hallo? Dit kan niet. Hallo?
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Doei.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Wel lekker wachten.
Including the wise calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Die kat ziet er heel geschrokken uit. Oh, dat is mooi. Die hebben we ook gespeeld.
holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Oh. Hoeveel verhalen hebben
My
we
brother
nog?
was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Nog 2, ja, dan ga ik dat even laten voor de volgende keer. Dus bedankt voor het kijken en ik hoop dat ik jullie zie bij de volgende video. Abonneer en like natuurlijk even en dan zie ik jullie volgende keer. Dag!